Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to give my review of Haru's Curse by Asuka Konishi. This is an omnibus volume put out by Vertical. I believe it's just 2 volumes in one. And I knew I was going to love this just based on the cover. I love the artwork. And I was very intrigued by the synopsis, so I was very excited to read this. And it did not disappoint. So our story follows Natsumi, her younger sister Haru, who was 19 years old, just passed away. And she was engaged to Togo, who's kind of this like stoic, quiet dude. It was an arranged sort of situation, but Haru was genuinely in love with Togo. And so at the funeral, Togo goes up to Natsumi and says, look, your sister's gone now. I still need to marry somebody. Do you want to start, kind of dating a bit here? Because my family still needs me to marry someone and you're in the same family as her. So, why not? And so Natsumi says, okay, but only if you take me to the places that you went with Haru. Take me to all those places that you went with her, and only those places. That's all I'm interested in. And so they kind of embark on this dating journey where he kind of just takes Natsumi to any of the places that him and Haru went on dates. And it's obviously a darker story because Natsumi feels immense guilt that she's even engaging in this kind of thought with the man that her sister loved. And her sister was the most important person to her in her entire life. She was basically everything to her. And so not only has she just lost, her reason for living, basically, but now she feels like she's betraying her sister by getting involved with Togo. And so, we kind of learn the unraveling of this story. We get obviously flashbacks to when Haru was alive, and we see the progression of these two growing closer and feeling more and more guilty about it. And it's quite sad, but it's also kind of hopeful in a way. And I think that this manga really towed that line very, very well of like societal expectations of you don't date your dead sister's guy. Like you don't do that. And for him, you don't date your dead fiance's sister. Like that's not how life works. You don't do that. But, she is extremely distraught and doesn't feel like she has much to live for anymore. And he is, we learn about him and what was going on with him and Haru and what is going on between him and Natsumi. And we just kind of learn the full story from the point where him and Haru had met to now the point where she's not here anymore. And, what were his actual feelings about his life in general. And I think this is a really beautiful story about these two people who really feel out of control, or feel a lack of control in their lives, learning to take control through the companionship of each other. And it was really well done. I really like these two. I think that they learn a lot from each other and from the situation. And it really makes you wonder, like, how many people enter into relationships that they really don't want to be in and just kind of settle, and spend the rest of their lives doing something that somebody else kind of planned out for them. Because it really makes you think, like, if Haru had not passed away, who would Natsumi end up with? How would the relationship with Togo have gone in the long run? Because they were really only in the early kind of stages of this relationship. She was only 19. And, I think the art. Oh, there's the little sister. The art is really stunning. There's some really, really beautiful color pages. And I think it's just like, I really like the really thick kind of lines, especially when they draw his face. Natsumi has some great, great facial expressions. I really like that this is supposed to be a like it's a darker story for sure. It deals with thoughts of suicide, of grief, and mourning and family and societal expectations and all of that kind of stuff. But it does keep it pretty lighthearted in terms of like she's good comic relief. Because she's so zany and wacky, but also she has her life together. Like she's not a horribly unreliable human. She really does have a career planned out, and she has things that she's good at and passionate about, and so it's really interesting to see this kind of like hyper but also put together young woman. She's just very like I really really like her, and I think that he's just kind of quiet and stoic because he's never really had the opportunity to be anything except that. But you know who she reminds me of? She reminds me of Risa Koizumi from Lovely Complex. I feel like she is what Risa would be if she was in her like late 20s. Still like hyper and goofy, but also like good at her job and put together, because obviously that one is a high school story, and so Risa's like very over the top. She's not good in school and all these things, but I think that if she found something she was good at and passionate about, and then like went to school, had some time to grow up a bit, I feel like she would be like Natsumi is in this story. And I really like that energy. Yeah, this was great. I highly recommend reading this. Very, very good, all in one, not gonna break the bank. Yeah, I'm excited. I hope we get more stuff by this mangaka because I really like this art. I think the storytelling was great. The atmosphere and the vibe of it was really, really entertaining. The character designs and character development, even in such a short amount of story, was really, really good, and I quite enjoyed it. If you read this, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have anything else that you've read that's decently similar to this, I would like to hear some recommendations of that as well. Thanks for watching.